Chapter 166, Half Saint's Light. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Yue Linchong's heart had been pierced. The blood kept gushing out of his chest despite him having sealed the blood meridian with his genuine qi. His robe was soon blood red. I'll give you everything including the 3-leaf holy clovers as long as you ask. Yue Linchong was in great pain as he pressed his hand to his chest. His face grew paler. Lu Han took out a white silk handkerchief and wiped the blood off her sword. With a sarcastic smile on her face, she said, "Yue Linchong, your silliness amuses me. Do you really think I'd fall for you? Among my admirers, there are at least 5 men who are more talented and powerful than you." Puffed. Yue Linchong died with his eyes wide open and blood gushing out of his mouth. Whether he died of anger or blood loss, no one would ever know. Lu Han took the bag off her back and put all of the 3-leaf holy clovers from their 2 bags into hers. There were a total of 98, all emitting opal lusters. Just smelling the fragrance of the 3-leaf holy clovers made the genuine qi inside her body move faster. A delighted smile showed on her beautiful face. My cultivation will definitely grow greatly if I refine all these 3-leaf holy clovers. Even if I'm promoted to the inner palace, I can still be one of the strongest. Suddenly there was a voice behind her. I could see that he was truly into you. Why did you kill him? Who's that? Lu Han was so shocked that she turned around at once and held her sword transversely to defend herself. Zhang Yuochen stepped out of the blood-red rock and stared at Lu Han. Are all women heartless and good at pretending? Can they truly kill men who love them and feel nothing? Lu Han reminded him of Princess Kaiyao. Lu Han was certainly far beneath Princess Kaiyao. Lu Han relaxed when she saw it was Zhang Yuochen. From her point of view, as powerful as he was still merely a freshman and no threat to her. She snorted, "Zhang Yuochen, killing Yue Linchong has nothing to do with you. Maybe I wouldn't have been able to find you had you chosen to hide, but since you have shown yourself, you have to die." She practiced a fast martial technique and her slender body became a series of blurs. She dashed towards Zhang Yuochen and stabbed at his globula. Zhang Yuochen stood still. With just a twist of his feet, his body was 5 steps away and easily evaded her attack. She was a little shocked. A shadow flashed in front of her eyes before she could react. He stood facing her and attacked with a palm. Dragon and elephant returning to earth. Feeling the tremendous force of the strike, her face changed. There was no time for her to dodge. She held her sword transversely to counter his attack. Boom! She flew back more than 10 meters, like a leaf in a storm. She tripped backwards and fell to the ground, leaving deep footprints with her every step. Her chest hurt badly and it felt like all her organs were damaged by the blast. Her spiritual blood and genuine qi circle were in chaos. How could he be that much stronger in just one day? When she had fought him the day before, she could have defeated him. Yet she was almost seriously injured by his one movement. Above all, he was incredibly fast, leaving her no chance to recover. Zhang Yuochen rushed at her as fast as he could. He gathered all of his power and attacked her again. Blood qi condensing soul. Lu Han activated the power of her blood meridian immediately. A medium-sized bloody wave with a 5-meter radius appeared under her feet. An illusory image of a 3-headed blood bird and a blood sword appeared behind her back. Together they formed a unique picture of the spiritual blood. Lu Han's power grew fast and was soon doubled. Her reaction speed had also increased. She triggered the illusory image of the blood bird to rush towards Zhang Yuochen and counter his attack. Boom! Zhang Yuochen crushed the illusory image with just one palm and melted it into pieces. With the sound of the wind, Lu Han performed a movement of the sword technique in the low class of spiritual and struck at Zhang Yuochen's neck. He intelligently stepped back to evade it. Blood qi convergence. Zhang Yuochen also activated the power of his blood meridian. With a boom, a blood wave with a 9-meter radius appeared under his feet and spun quickly, threatening to engulf Lu Han. This is a divine stage blood wave. She finally understood why he was so powerful. He was able to practice a divine stage blood wave. Only the warriors with the talent to become a saint could have a blood meridian that powerful. She was totally suppressed by his divine stage blood wave. She didn't stand a chance. Within only 3 movements he struck her right shoulder. Boom! Her shoulder was broken by his powerful attack and she spat a mouthful of blood. flew backwards and fell to the ground. The sword that she was holding flew out of her hand and fell to the ground. Zhang Yuochen waved his arm in the air and the sword on the ground was in his hand. He pointed it at her neck and said, "Women like you who have beauty but no gratitude deserve no mercy." Laying on the ground with terror in her eyes, Lu Han begged, "Please, don't kill me. I'll do anything you want. I'll be your woman or your slave. Just let me live." A cruelness flashed in her eyes and she suddenly took out a thunder pearl and threw it at Zhang Yuochen. She hit the ground with one palm to send her body sliding back 3 meters. She jumped to her feet and started to run away. Zhang Yuochen wasn't worried at all facing the thunder pearl. He shook his fingers to form a circle with the sword in his hand, wrapped the thunder pearl with his genuine chi and threw it 100 meters away. Boom! The thunder pearl exploded above Lu Han, emitting a bolt of lightning blasting her back right under Zhang Yuochen's feet. Puffed. He immediately stabbed her between her glabella, leaving a red scar. A drop of red blood fell from the wound. There was no sign of life in her motionless body. She was a pretty corpse. He used his sword breath to break through her skull in one movement. It had broken Lu Han's soul yet left only a tiny wound. Zhang Yuochen looked at the sharp sword in his hand, nodding slightly. A 5th level genuine martial arms. It'll fetch a good price. He reached for the 2 bags on Lu Han's back after putting the sword in his spatial ring. Not only were the 98 3-leaf holy clovers but also pills and treasures that she and Yu Linchong had brought to Chikong's secret mansion. He put them all into his spatial ring to look at them later. He stored all the 3-leaf holy clovers in jade containers. With the help of these 3-leaf holy clovers, there's an even better chance for me to break through to the ultimate realm of the Black Realm. He raised his head and glanced at Haunted Mist Mountain. He saw that there were more 3-leaf holy clovers on the cliff of the mountainside than at the foot of it. He shook his head slightly and let go of his greed. He said to himself, "No need to risk my life for it." Haunted Mist Mountain was so dangerous that even the warriors of the Earth Realm only had a small chance to walk away from it alive. He was lucky enough to have gained so much where he was. He was about to leave before he felt that something was missing. He stopped and looked at the ground carefully, only to find that Lu Han's body was nowhere to be found. He remembered clearly that her body had been on the ground less than 10 meters away. How could it just disappear? Even warriors of the Earth Realm couldn't have silently stolen the body. All of a sudden he felt a chill behind him. A cold, delicate hand seized him by the throat before he could attack. "Freeze!" A hoarse voice spoke behind him. The person behind him was ice cold, freezing the air around him and turning the sweat on his back to ice. He felt like his blood was about to freeze. He tried his best to remain calm. Without turning his head around, he asked, "Who are you?" "Me? Who am I? Who am I?" The voice sounded lost. Although hoarse, the voice sounded familiar to him. It sounded somewhat like Lu Han. The hand on his throat suddenly loosened its grasp. The person stepped back and asked emptily, "Who am I? Who am I?" He dashed forward fast as soon as it let him go. He didn't turn around until there were 30 meters between them. It was indeed Lu Han who had seized him by the throat. To be precise, it was Lu Han's dead body. How could it be? How could she come back to life? That's impossible. I broke her soul with my sword breath. Zhang Yuochen stared at Lu Han standing in the distance. Suddenly, he realized his mistake. There was a golden halo above her head. The golden halo emitted a strong saint power. It formed thick ice on the ground dozens of meters around and kept Zhang Yuochen from approaching. It's the half-saint's light. How could Lu Han have it? Suddenly he realized something and became quite serious. A warrior of the Heaven Realm could practice his soul to martial soul if he used genuine chi to nourish it. A half-saint could use the saint power to nourish the martial soul to divine soul. After a half-saint fell, his saint soul would scatter and disappear. Yet in special circumstances, a few divine souls wouldn't disappear and instead transformed into the half-saint's light, wandering the graveyards. Haunted Mist Mountain was where Golden Cloud half-saint fell. Could his saint soul have transformed into the half-saint's light and entered Lu Han's body? Zhang Yuochen regretted that he hadn't cut off her head. If he had done that, there wouldn't be a terrible monster in front of him now. Lu Han was indeed a non-human and non-corpse monster now. No one knew what would happen next.